Yeah, I'm Victoria Fakiya, a reporter with TechPoint Africa, and I am autistic, or I have autism, right? Alright. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. It's actually a pleasure, like being here, right? So, and I see what this foundation is doing is right. So, it's actually a great one because if my parents didn't know, they don't still know I have autism or I'm autistic though. So till now, they don't have an idea of what autism is, so it's not like I can go, but it's fine. Yeah. So okay, I don't know how to start. Right. Well, first, I actually appreciate what is doing because when the founder, I can't remember his name, but yeah, when he told me that like he would like me to talk, and I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, oh, so there's a foundation like this that's helping children, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll be here to talk. Like, it's actually awesome because if you go outside this foundation, outside this school, we find out that most people don't know what autism is. They don't even have an idea of what autism is. But not talk of accepting autistic people. Well, you know, when I was younger, I loved to write, right? So, and my parents would not allow me to write. Yeah, like write, yes, write, yes. So I was younger. My dad is actually an avid reader. Like, he likes to read a lot. So he actually, would take us to the school bookshop back then to get us books where we read and all of that. So from there, I started reading. Back then, I loved reading, like, because that was what I was exposed to, books, right? So I loved reading. So there was a time I read this book, Whisker the Brave Cat. It's a lantern book, right? So yeah, I read it and I was like, wow, whoever wrote this should be intelligent, right? So I love the whole plot, the story like, about cats, about the animal kingdom kind of story. So I was like, okay, I just thought of this. Let me write a book, A White Goat as Stubborn. And I did. I wrote a book, A White Goat as Stubborn, actually. So I was already in junior school, like junior secondary school, when I wrote the book, and I showed it to my parents. My parents were like, not in my house. My dad especially was like, you have to face your books. You have to study to become a doctor. You have to do this. You don't have to read. You don't have to write books. So okay, I've always known I'm different. They know too, but they couldn't just place it out. This is autism or something. My autism is not something that you can just cover. It's something that shows, right? So they know I'm different, but they didn't treat me differently. So that's it. So they treated me like everybody else, like all my siblings. I don't know. I can't even remember what happened until I'm probably 10 to 11 years old. So I can't remember what happened in my younger years, right? So I can't remember anything. If you ask me what happened when I was 5, I don't know. I can't remember anything, right? So, well, yeah, I asked my mom one time, like, oh, how was my childhood like? And she was like, I used to cry a lot when I was younger, something like that. So she didn't want me to feel bad because I noticed the way she was answering me, like she didn't want to expose a lot to me. I'm like, for me, I'm older now, I can't do this. She was like, you're just like everybody. Yeah, so they didn't want me to feel. Yeah, exactly. They didn't want me to feel different. I didn't feel different when I was at home. But when I was in school, I felt different because I went to a normal, like when I say normal school, like a neurotypical school where everybody was neurotypical. Maybe mostly everybody was, because I'm sure we had like people who were different, who were neurodivergent back then, but they didn't know that this is what it is. So yeah. Okay, one of the things actually made me feel like, oh, when my parents feel more relaxed was because I was very good academically. Yeah, so that actually made me feel like, oh, maybe I'm outstanding or something. They didn't really, and again, at home, I didn't really feel any different because the way my parents treated me was like, yeah, one of us, like, the love was there, like, they showered everybody, like, if they're scolding this one, they will scold me if I do something wrong. Like, it's not like they treated me any different or something wrong with me. They have to, exactly. So that actually helps too, because when I stepped out and say probably I'm in a loud environment, like how is crying is actually affecting me right now. So I am actually crying. Like I am sensitive to light, to sound, to anything. Yeah. So yeah, whenever I step out, whenever I probably interaction, like we can't. That's why it's autism. Like so, if you're with people, there's this need to withdraw because you're with people. Okay, but the thing that the autistic children can actually develop skills, like right, but at the same time, they they can develop skills like me at work, at home. Like sometimes at home, I don't move. I don't want to come out because I'm just. What do I have to talk about? What do I want to discuss with you? Yeah. So at the same time, there are some occasions that I have to talk to people. But after exactly, but after the talk, I just feel so tired, so exhausted. Like my body's paining me. I just want to sleep. So that was like the exactly. Even at work. So it got to a point at work that I was always tired, like to the point that I was not productive at work, right? I was not productive at all because of the, they call it autism burnout, right? So, and so when I'm going to work, I'm in the bus. The sound from the like the ooze from the car, the sound, the sound the bus is making, is actually affecting me. So when I get to work, I'm tired. So that will not make me to do my work, right? And when I get back home, I'm super exhausted. I don't want to sleep. So that actually has been occurring like for a long time. So this is how I actually got my diagnosis, right? Okay, before my diagnosis, I knew it. Like I knew there was something wrong with me because when I was in university, oh my god, UI showed me Pepe. Oh man, I went to UI, right? So I normal like they thought I was probably neurotypical, so but I went through hell.
And you didn't have a choice.
I didn't have the choice, so I actually struggled. Like when I say I struggled through school, but well, like I said, I struggled all the way academically, but then I came out well, like 2-1 kind of. But yeah, but that's actually struggle. Like I struggled through school, man. So I actually want to go back for my masters, but not in Nigeria. But then I'm actually like the trauma is I'm like, hey, if I go back to my masters, yeah, like I've been wanting to go back since 2020. I'm like, hey, am I going to do this? Because the like can I?
Schools now you can actually choose.
Yeah, but I don't think in Nigerian schools.
No, not in Nigeria.
Yeah, but in the US, yeah, you can see that you have autism, you have ADHD, so yeah, that one is actually acceptable in some schools, but not Nigerian schools.
No.
Man, okay, so that's by the way. So even doing my academics, like I would read, I would not understand, but I have to pass, so I cram to pass, right? So when I met my therapist, like my clinical psychologist who diagnosed me, so it was like, oh, so when I told him about my struggle, like my academic struggles, kinda, he was like, well, that's part of autism, right? I said that's part of autism because autism actually has to do with three things basically: how you communicate, how you interact with people, which has to do with social skills, and how you behave, like your behavior. So communication in the sense that when you read, you hardly understand. Well, I don't. It's not that I can't understand, but yeah, but I have issues with reading too. At a point, I thought I had dyslexia, like a learning disability, right? So that was before my official diagnosis. So I read a lot information on neurodiversity, neurodivergence, and all of that on the internet. So at the end of the day, I came up with three things. Oh, it's either I am dyslexic, or I am autistic, or I have ADHD. So and when I was interning back then, before my official diagnosis, because yeah, so before my official diagnosis, that was in 2019. I was looking for answers, like what can be wrong with me. I know I'm like I've always known I'm different, but I need to find answers. I need to know what is wrong with me, right? So I went to the internet. I started, reading up on things, dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, autism, and all of that. So at the end of the day, after my research, after my findings, I just say, okay, it's either I am autistic, I have ADHD, or I have dyslexia. So at my former workplace, that was in 2020. So I went to meet my boss. I'm like, boss, it's either I have autism or I have ADHD. My boss was like, you have autism, you cannot have autism. Like, do you know, like it was talking from this, like from the
The physical aspect.
it was like you cannot have
What they can
autism.
see.
You what? No. Do you know what autism means? Like making it was trying to paint it like, or is if you're autistic, you cannot do anything. Yeah, you are just this, you are not that. Like that's what he was actually painting. So that's what it was painting like. If you're autistic, you cannot achieve anything. Like you're just dumb, you're just dull, you're just there. So actually, like, but that's not what I read on the internet, right? So later I said, okay, so I have ADHD or dyslexia, or I am both, because I couldn't. ADHD doesn't really have anything to do with communication, like reading and not understanding and all of that. So I was like, maybe I have both dyslexia and ADHD. So when I wanted to get when I wanted to apply for my current job, I specifically wrote it there like I have ADHD and dyslexia. So by the time I'm starting to show these traits. You'll be like, oh, we didn't tell you before, or you wouldn't. So that was one of the reasons I quit my former job, because like well, I can't quit because of the whole situation. When I say this, you are telling me that I am lazy, I don't want to do this. Okay, I just quit, right? So when I wanted to apply for my next job, I specifically wrote to there, I have ADHD and dyslexia. So I went for the interview, blah blah blah. We even discussed about the ADHD dyslexia thing. Then I was selected. I was hired. Yeah. So that's down the line. So down the line, that was when this whole going to work thing. Okay, at first we were working remotely. That was during COVID-19, like after COVID-19. So 2021 we were working remotely. Then last year we started going to the office. Like we were doing hybrid work. Yeah, so you have to go to the office some days, or you have to stay back at home to work. Yeah, some days. So that actually happened. But when I was going to work, the some days that I was going to work was almost very, very hectic. We were going to work. It was the noise, the sound, even at work. Like if you're in the office, two people are discussing, like communicating. It's like you can't really concentrate. It's affecting you, and all of that. And then I was just getting so tired that I went to different hospitals. When I went to hospitals to make complaints like what's wrong with me. I'm always tired, fatigue, and all of that. Doctor said I have one thing. They said it's one fatigue, something like they don't care for that one at all. I did a lot of things until I went to one hospital. So I went to meet a specialist, right? So after telling him my symptoms, he actually misdiagnosed me, right? So he said I have anxiety disorder. And I'm like, I don't have anxiety disorder. And I was like, sir, I don't have anxiety disorder. I can't have an anxiety disorder. And he was like, are you a doctor? Are you a professional? Something like that. So he gave me drugs. I didn't use them. He told me to come and get the same drugs. After 2 weeks, I went back after 2 weeks. So he asked me, how are the drugs? I lied. So I think that was a mistake. I lied. I said, I've been using them and it's fine. I'm fine. So give me the same drugs or more. So okay, I said, okay, let me use the drugs. So the anxiety disorder drugs, right? So when I used them, I started reacting like it was crazy. Like, of course, I was sensitive before, but I was hypersensitive. Like hypersensitive, like anything, I just start shaking. Like anything, I just start reacting to it. Something that I would react to normally was me reacting times 20 to that particular thing. So I went back to the hospital. Fortunately for me, the specialist I met was not there. So I went to meet a general practitioner. So when I met with the general practitioner, he said I shouldn't have met with that specialist because it's actually a neurologist. That I should have met with a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, or a psychotherapist that would diagnose me of whatever concern it is. That this one actually do not have anything to do with your whatever. Because after explaining my symptoms, I said, oh, I should have met with a professional that can actually diagnose me. So I went to meet a therapist, like a clinical psychologist, right? That was last year. All these things that were last 2022. Yeah, last year. Yeah. So after like 3 to 4 sessions with my um, psychologist, he diagnosed me of autism. Right. So after my diagnosis, so he explains a lot of things to me, like how my symptoms actually relate to autism and all of that.